Well, hello, hello, hello. Hey, everyone, and welcome. Happy to have you here with me. You are here, of course, for the Live with Leslie show, and got a great conversation set up for you today. And we are here today with Eleni from the Women's Nutrition Clinic. Yes,
Mhm.
got that right. And so we are going to be talking about how you can expand that conversation with clients in order to really help them to improve outcomes, right? At the end of the day, that's really what we're looking for. And we're going to be looking at questions and looking at different insights and approaches that we can give to our clients to utilize that might just be being overlooked, right? So I'm really looking forward to that. Those of you that are joining us right now, again, welcome. Really excited to have you here. And just in case you don't know me, my name is Lesli Bitel, and I am a practice building expert specifically for health and wellness entrepreneurs who want to attract more clients, sell more programs, and ultimately grow a profitable practice while integrating multiple streams of income into their business models. Anyway, Eleni, let's jump right in. We're going to be talking about what health practitioners need to know when working with their clients, some strategies and tips that are going to help your clients to really achieve more. And we'll be talking about three key important lifestyle changes that you actually can help your client to make, along with how this whole kind of philosophy really benefits the bigger picture, including planetary health. All right. So, welcome, Eleni. I'm really, really happy to have you back.
Yes.
And I know this is a hot topic. I've had a couple people texting me today, like, "Oh my gosh, I want to watch. I want to watch. Tell me again, where do I go?" And a couple people that want to, they can't make it live, but they want to view the recording. So definitely a hot topic. So for those of you that don't know Eleni, I'm just going to ask her to do a quick intro. And yeah, Eleni, just tell us a little bit about your journey and what are you doing these days?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me again. It's always great to see you. So I'm a dietitian and my clinic is Women's Nutrition Clinic. And over the years, I've, worked really hard and really tuned into what kind of philosophy do I want to bring to the clinic and how do I want to show up for clients. And the reason I preface with that is because I do use a lot of, integrative and functional approaches. And as part of my undergrad, I studied in a program along with dietetics called eco gastronomy. And this was really pivotal in helping me shape my philosophy because it was all around sustainability, respecting culinary arts, hospitality management. And I was in Italy eating these
Hmm.
3-hour meals and viewing food as an art. But then we were on farms and picking chickpeas and learning about honey and the benefits. So I talk about this because I think there is an important component of planetary health, of culture, of tradition, of biodiversity that we can really be embracing as health practitioners and not forgetting that this is an important piece of the conversation when we're helping our clients. So in my clinic now, I largely focus on women's health, PCOS, other hormonal issues. But again, I really like to bring in this other component as much as I can. And I've seen when we do this, it really does help clients be successful long term. And was excited to share more about this. It's just something I'm passionate about as well.
Such a great topic. So would you say I know obviously based on the name of your business, you
Mhm.
specialize in women's health. Are you still mostly working with PCOS? Or
Yes, still mostly working, with PCOS, women's health. Outside the clinic, do a little bit of, consulting for different companies, but anywhere I show up, it's always driven by this, hey, how can we support our clients and support the earth and support all this diversity and culture with that?
got it. Very cool. Okay. All right. So let's start by maybe putting a little bit of definition around some of these concepts. So, can you describe a little bit what exactly do you mean when you say expanding the conversation with clients? What does that mean?
Yeah. So, what I mean by this, and in the context of today, is really being able to talk about different lifestyle changes that might be commonly overlooked or we're not bringing enough value behind them. So, I think it's easy as health providers to say, do this food protocol, just cut out these foods, just bring in these supplements. But it's not just that. Humans are complex and we all have our own individual journeys. And I think by bringing in the conversation around these lifestyle changes, we can help our clients be successful long term and also help them create a healthy relationship with their food, the planet, and more, and not feel so restricted and driven by fear.
Ah, okay. Maybe, do you have any examples that you might be willing to share?
Yeah, I would love to go through just some of these like three main points of expanding
Okay.
the conversation and things that, practitioners can walk away with, and clinically what I've seen again help clients really make changes. So one that I really love talking about is creating more of a sacred meal time. I think in modern day society, like how many of us are on the run or eating
Yeah.
between meetings or eating at our desk. I mean, even us who counsel patients, right? Like we're probably trying to get a quick bite
Probably
in,
the worst offenders at
right?
times,
Right.
right? I
Yeah.
know
Oh,
I
yeah.
can be.
Yeah. And I've even learned a lot, as I've counseled patients more on this, like totally practicing what I preach and really having those sacred meal times and seeing the difference in my own life and health. And
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
And the reason, of mealtime, it's like, yeah, I should sit down and eat my meal. Well, yeah, there's a lot of benefit to this. So when we slow down and we actually chew our food, we're going to digest our nutrients more. We're going to actually use that saliva, right, which is an important
Right.
component to eating that perfect organic salad or whatever it is, being away from electronics. So, yes, you're going to stimulate the digestive system, you're going to calm down that nervous system response, and you can really sit with your food and value it more. So, I just want to pause there because I think it is this integration of the science that we learn. But then again, it's like, oh my God, just being with your food and sitting down, it's so healing in and of itself.
Right. Not to mention eating with, family or, loved ones, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of leads me to this, next point of when we eat in community, we strengthen that social bonding. We're more likely to eat better.
Mm,
People who eat alone, there's been some studies to show that the diet quality is worse when you eat alone.
totally see.
You're not paying attention as much to what you're eating. And I think again, we're in such a individualistic society in the States too, right? Like we do a lot on our own. We preach independence,
Right.
and at mealtime, that's not so great for our health. So these are again just like small lifestyle changes that are so pivotal because when we are trying to change our diet, these can help clients really see that change. And really like promoting that relationship with food. So if you just slow down and you eat in community, that can even help with reducing food waste. And this is where we bring in a little nugget of planetary health. 40% of food in America is wasted, and that's really sad, and that can impact the planet. So if we just like slow down, eat, appreciate what we're eating, I mean, not only are we benefiting ourselves, the people around us, but that's where you get this bigger picture. And I know it's been really gratifying in my work to know I'm helping clients, but in a
Right.
way, making a bigger impact, even on a small scale.
I love that. That is incredibly powerful. And definitely I have a little work to do there.
It's
Yeah,
human behavior, right? It's hard.
right? It is. Oh my gosh. I always say changing your eating habits really has to be about the hardest thing ever.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's just like there's just so much to it.
Hmm.
You really do have to like it's mindset, it's habits, it's planning, it's knowing what you should change, identifying like what are your priorities and actually, crafting a plan and following through. Like there's a lot to it.
Yes. And I think as clinicians and even with like, integrative health, I think exploding more, which is amazing. It's easy to go to the lab testing, all the supplements, which is so important. And I
But
even find like people want answers, right? So it's like they want the labs, they want this.
yeah,
And we really have, when we expand the conversation, we have to say like, this is so foundational and we can't forget this, because that's what's also going to help us long term, right? Even when we're looking at the details, we've got to take a step back and focus on this. And, you know, even with health, how many products are out there, like health products labeled that are healthy or, you know, will support your body, but we're overlooking real food. And there's this quote I love by Carlo Petrini. He's wonderful. And I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget. He says, today eating generates uncertainty, anxiety, and fear. Food today is more of a product to be sold than to be eaten. So again, this is by Carlo Petrini. And that really hit home because even in our health field, how many health products are out there versus emphasis on whole, fresh, real food?
right.
Mm-hmm.
So many. Yeah, we've got a couple comments from Emily. Hey Emily, I'm so glad you could make it. Yeah, so Emily says, I definitely second this. I try to tell patients to make a safe space for mealtime. And then she says, habits can be more important than the actual content of the meal sometimes.
I love that. Yeah.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
Any other kind of like examples that you can share in terms of expanding that conversation?
Yeah. And another big one is having people find joy in being in the kitchen again. Like
Mm,
we have so much on our plates, you know,
yeah,
work commitments, and I see more and more there's less value on being in the kitchen and
right.
just getting that quick bite out. Even if that quick bite is relatively healthy, just finding more value being in the kitchen is so
Right.
essential for this.
Instead of like, yeah, instead of some like a chore that you just
Yes.
get it done and get out, right?
Yeah.
Different. So like kind of savoring that time.
Yeah. And I find there's like a lot of fear behind it. And like you said, it's
Mm,
a chore. So really exploring that relationship. Like, what is your relationship like with cooking? How do you feel when you're in the kitchen?
yeah.
Why do you feel this way? How can we bring more value? And I'm all about bringing value because once somebody values something, that's going to help them stick to it long term. And we've undervalued culinary arts, right? Like we used to have home ec, we used to teach people to cook, we used to spend time in the kitchen, and now it's more about convenience. So how can we convey that message to our clients that being in the kitchen, you're always going to have fresher foods. It's a form of self-care, it's a form of creativity, a form of
Right.
connecting with whoever's in your household. They can join in, and it's a way to help you feel more confident around foods.
Yeah, exactly. And just it seems like it's about enjoying the process or the
Yeah.
experience rather than just again trying to get it done as fast as you can just
Yes.
because you have to, right?
Yes.
So maybe a mind shift around instead of you have to, you get to.
Yes.
That might be helpful. I'm kind of talking to myself a little bit here.
Yeah. No, I know so much of this is mindset.
Self-talk.
Yeah, you know, I have clients all the time that say, okay, I guess I'll just start being in the kitchen more because you're telling me I believe this. And then when they start doing it, they say if they eat out, they feel worse, it's not as good. They can get
Yeah,
creative and make it at home for cheaper and
right.
better quality. And so I do see that mindset start to change,
Yeah,
but start the conversation and, you know, say that it's okay to actually take that 20 to 30 minutes to cook. That part of that experience is important. It's not just about the end product of what's on the plate. It's
there you go.
kitchen, connecting with the food, you know, whoever else is with you, putting music on, and, you know, really respecting culture and tradition. We're losing diversity in the kitchen. People aren't passing down recipes like
Right.
to. We're not using certain foods or we're not eating certain plants or species that we used to eat because we're quick to go out and grab that convenient option, even
Yeah,
if it's a little healthier. So just getting back in the kitchen, I think, is so important for the human race in many different ways.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so little sidebar. My daughter, who's at University of Minnesota, is she's a sophomore, and so she has several roommates, and it's so interesting okay, I was not doing this in college, let me tell you. Like they food prep.
Wow.
They literally food prep like on the weekend, and they do like all of it. I was completely shocked. I don't know. It seems
Hmm.
like this might be an anomaly
Yeah.
because I don't know. I'm not really hearing about college kids doing that, like your normal college kid, right? But I just think, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And they come like, different ethnicities. It's really, really neat to see. I'm
So
hoping it rubs off on my offspring.
yeah. Yeah, that's great. And like you said, people are all bringing a little something to the kitchen, and that
Hmm.
can spark inspiration or
Yeah,
confidence in somebody else. So I think that's amazing. Probably not happening in a lot of college students, but that's really great.
right.
And like
I
you said,
know.
you can be influenced. Like we mirror behavior. That's such a human thing to do. So if somebody
Yeah,
around you starts doing this, or you feel like, well, my family isn't going to cook with me, what if you just start doing it? You never know. They might hop
right.
in and get a little excited too.
Yeah, yeah. Like so this might be your roommates for next year. She's living with different people that also do this. Like it's insane. So they actually, oh, they have this thing where they love pies. And so
Mhm.
they bake a like really unique pie every single day in November for some reason. It's like their pie baking month.
Mhm.
I'm very impressed with that. I gotta tell you, like
Mhm.
they're like all engineer students, so very interesting.
That's
But
awesome.
whatever it is, it's really, really good, and I just love it because they're eating well. You would think in college it's just like a nightmare, but they're eating healthy, they're eating well, they're socially,
It's
eating
great.
together. So
Mhm.
there's kind of that sense of community. So it's really pretty cool. And then very impressive that it's just not a once in a while thing. Like
Yes.
literally doing the food prepping on the weekends. Crazy.
Yeah, I
Crazy
think
awesome.
yeah, and this is the perfect life example of all of these components of expanding the conversation we just reviewed, right? So like
Yeah,
having that sacred meal time, you're going to get the things you need to get done, an extra, realistically if you take 15 to 20 minutes each meal, that's still less than an hour of your day, right? So it's like having that sacred meal time,
right.
being with people while you're eating, and just spending a little more time in the kitchen. It's so healing, right? The
It
social
is.
bonding, the nutrition, listening to your body, calming down the nervous system. And imagine if you're eating a really nutritious diet and doing that.
Yeah, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know like for me, I live in kind of a small town now in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, part of the time, not full time. And there's a couple good restaurants, but like let me
Yeah.
just say it's a tourist kind of town.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tourism from Chicago. I'm not going to say the restaurants are that great. Like, there's a couple really awesome ones, but that's kind of my motivation. It's like, you're really not going to get,
Yeah.
like, I'm kind of used to the Chicago scene, right? Like,
Right.
everywhere you turn, you have an amazing restaurant. Not so much. So, that is a huge motivator for me personally.
Yeah.
It's,
I
it's
get
that, it's that quality. Like, you just know
that.
it's not they're just not buying the super high quality ingredients that
Yes.
they probably could. And it's just the flavors aren't that amazing. So that's my thing. Like
Yeah.
it has to taste good.
For sure. And I'm like such a foodie. I lived in a pretty big area in New Hampshire where there's like a big food scene, and then moving to Austin. So I was all about like going out. And even if they were
Yeah,
like, "Hey, look at your restaurants," I'm like, I got to try these different flavors. And then I kind of had this, moment with myself a couple years back, reconnecting to the simplicity of food. So
right.
the
Ooh,
quality at home and like experiencing the flavor. What does a carrot from the farmer's market taste like when you roast it with just a
ooh.
little bit of good quality oil and a little herb and sea salt, right? And
Mhm.
so I hear you in that too. And sometimes getting away from like all the things makes you appreciate it. And I kind of had this moment of
Yeah,
like, oh, I can really appreciate the simplicity of food even as a foodie, and cook a little bit more at home
Yeah.
too. And I've been, doing more dinner parties with friends, and
Oh,
a lot of like potluck stuff instead of going out, and you feel so much better because it's not as processed. You don't get all those yucky oils.
oh,
And then
right.
you're having this social bonding. So it's just really cool. And it's been, like we learn too, even when we
Yeah.
practice as practitioners, sometimes once we have that conversation, we almost do more of it for
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah. So
So
true. Okay. Let's see what kind of comments we have. Okay. Hey, Heidi, how are you? I feel like I mastered the mindful eating approach personally and as a practitioner, but when I think became a mother, now a mother of 4. Wow, congratulations. Woo! That's a lot. Mindful eating at mealtime, I'm not quite sure exists. LOL. Definitely. I'm curious, Eleni, what are your thoughts on eating with young children? For
that's a
myself
good
and
question.
clients, that's a great question.
Yeah, I personally don't have children, so I can't speak to it in that perspective, but I've had like really big family meals with my family or with my partner's family, and sometimes there's chaos and a lot of talking, and with that, I always say, you know what, try not to go into like perfection mode. Mindful eating is only looks this way, but
Yeah,
can I just work on chewing that one bite of food and
yeah,
resting my fork and maybe having a conversation and then coming back to it. So I think it's just trying to slow down as much as you can, connect with others, and it might not look exactly like when you're in a peaceful environment, but I still think it's better than when you're totally disconnected with the fact that food's even in front of you, which happens to think about eating at night and snacking in front of the TV,
right.
right?
Yeah. I don't know if this is helpful, but so part of my practice used to revolve around mindful eating, and for like really healthy weight management, right? Kind of that non-diet approach.
Mm.
And it's funny when I think back because I was really really into it, and so like I would ask my kids, how, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how hungry are you? And they'd be like, Mom, I'm a 7. They totally knew the scale, right?
Cool.
And so I'm sure they still kind of go back to that to a degree because you can't like unlearn that, right?
Yeah.
Pounded in your, not pounded, but it was just kind of funny to see
Yeah.
a little tiny kid saying, well, Mom, I think I'm a 6 or maybe a 6.5. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, this is so good.
Fun. Yeah. Like making it part of the conversation.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So funny. Okay, let's see what Emily has to say. I also feel like
Mhm.
cooking can help you try new foods. Absolutely.
Yep.
Which can help us to eat more mindfully in the end. Absolutely. And we welcome all of your comments in the chat. Um, yeah, okay. Hi, yeah, this is my niche role model, the behavior you want to see. There you go. That is, oh, that's great. Yeah, role model the what you want to see, and your kids will follow along, which is
Mhm.
like so very true.
I get that from a lot of my clients, especially with PCOS or working on fertility, just wanting to work on these foundational habits before they even have children because,
Mhm.
they said I want to model good habits to them because I know certain habits were modeled to me, and so I think that's super powerful. And yeah, work again, these foundational pieces that are so overlooked.
So critical.
Mhm.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit then. I think having these conversations clearly is so helpful, and honestly, not just for the client, but I mean, some of this is helpful for you as
Mhm.
the practitioner as well, right? We
Mhm.
kind of need even to remind ourselves. So, any other benefits of having these kind of conversations that you want to highlight, Eleni?
I think just like an overview, I know we've kind of talked about a few little action steps. So I
Yeah.
think just big picture, having these conversations again are going to help with mindfulness for a client that will probably start to go outside of mealtime, just be more
Mhm.
mindful in their life and present in their life, which is
Mhm.
beautiful. Will probably spark a healthier relationship with food, right? So if you're connecting with food versus food rules or things they've
Right.
heard, again, they can kind of shift out of fear state and more into like, wow, I feel like I'm healing myself. I have a healthier relationship and I enjoy these foods.
Mhm.
It's going to promote social connection, like we talked about, which is so important. It's also going to support diversity in the kitchen, right? So just cooking different foods and maybe even different species we eat, which we need to protect our planet too, right? We need to start adding more biodiversity back, and just respecting different cultures. So I know this can be challenging. Some people say, well, I grew up eating these cultural foods and that's what got me in trouble. So how do
Hmm.
you find that balance? Like if my culture eats a lot of carb dense foods, like what does that mean for me? And, how can I balance that? So I think there still is definitely a place to respect different cultures, help people feel confident that they're still changing their health while eating the foods they love and that, are important to them. And again, overall, just work, a lot of this can benefit planetary health, especially for reducing food waste, using your hunger scale. Like eating too much is food waste too, right?
Yeah,
Or not
right.
how to meal prep is food waste. So I think that's one little thing we can all do for ourselves, for our budget, and for our planet.
What kind of foods are your favorites?
Well, that's a good question. I do love veggies. So I grew up like fairly traditional Italian family. So broccoli rabe with like olive oil is one of
Ooh.
my absolute favorite veggies.
Roasted, or how do you cook it?
I like to boil it a little bit and then saute it in some olive oil and garlic, add a little sea
Mm.
salt. So it's like one of my favorite veggie sides.
Okay.
I love making homemade tomato sauce, and I've actually been doing that
Mm.
more frequently because it takes time and
Yeah.
patience. So really love that. And I love white potatoes. So like roasting them, adding oregano. That's a big favorite. Yeah.
Yum.
I guess these are like sides, my
Yeah.
favorite sides.
Yeah. Are you like, what kind of main dishes do you enjoy?
Like I'm trying to think. I feel like I just randomly combine different foods all the time. I love like getting a nice piece of white fish and
Mhm.
just throwing that in the oven, and then maybe adding some like potatoes, my broccoli rabe on the side.
Yeah.
That's like a complete meal that I absolutely love. I've been really into omelets lately and having a lot of fun with like jazzing them up. So I've added some dried thyme to an omelet I had recently, and just like a little bit of actually brie cheese in it, and it was super fun and yummy. And that was a great brunch. And then playing around with some like kind of protein rich pancakes with fresh
Oh, yeah.
lemon in it too. I made some like
Oh,
almond
okay.
flour lemon pancakes, lemon cookies.
Yum. Ooh, I love
I kind
that.
of get creative in the kitchen. I love seeing like what I have left and then food combining, but lemon's been one of my favorites.
Oh, now that is an
Yeah,
interesting combination.
super yummy. Mhm.
Sounds good. All right, let's see if we've got any more comments. Oh, let's see here. Let's see. Did we do this one yet?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we did this one. Okay, let's see about this one. Yep, we did that one. Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I think we're caught up on the comments, guys.
Um,
Awesome. Great. Any final words of wisdom that you want to share with us as we kind of start to wrap up today?
I think, like having fun is coming to mind. I think
Yeah,
sometimes I know as a provider, like we can be hard on ourselves to know everything, to be able to like help the client fix the problem.
yeah.
And these conversations are a little bit lighter. I think they're really fun. And the reason they're fun is because they're transformational. They're going to help clients literally change their lives and be positive influences for the people around them. So I just hope this is fun for people. It's a little bit lighter, and if you're somebody that loves to cook, loves to be in the kitchen, is a foodie, it's a beautiful way to integrate your passions while helping people and beyond that too.
Mhm. Love that. Very inspirational. Where we live up here, one thing that is all over those farms, like
Oh, I love that.
everywhere, everywhere. And so, yeah, so like getting, fresh eggs right off the
Mhm.
farm, super easy. There's like everywhere you look, there's farmers markets. So it's pretty cool. That's something that is an improvement versus, the Chicago area where obviously it's more urban. So,
Right.
so definitely the ability to get incredible ingredients
Nice.
is, and lots of cheese.
Right, where you are.
Cheese. Yeah, cheese
Think
land.
about
I
that.
always joke, like the best cheese you can ever imagine.
Yeah.
I've never seen so much cheese in my life, which is pretty funny.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I think too, like, quality is so important, but a real food is always better than a super processed packaged food with food dyes,
Oh,
right? So even if somebody doesn't have that access, it's like,
yeah,
just buy beans in a bag and boil
right.
them yourself and, see the
Yeah,
benefit. So,
absolutely. Yeah, and it's just more satisfying, health, of
yeah.
course, healthier, but somehow the super processed foods, it doesn't even like register as food to me in my
Yeah.
mind. It doesn't, like satiety out the window. So
Mhm.
anyway, it was so great to reconnect with you, Eleni. Thank you so very
Yeah.
much for chatting with us about this incredible topic. And for those of you that joined us and those of you that are listening to the replay, hope you found a ton of value. I'd love to hear from you. When if you listen to the replay, let me know, give me a little feedback on, maybe what your favorite home cooked meal is. I'd love to hear more about your approach and kind of your cooking habits at home. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, an awesome weekend, and I look forward to seeing you again next week, next Thursday, same time, same place. All right, bye for now, everyone.